So I'm glad y'all are here. So 5 people are here already. I am Amanda Rose, founder of Eat Like a Bear, and I've been here live every day at noon Pacific to talk about our 100 count. We have now in the low 90s, 93 people who've lost over 100 pounds in the community. And yesterday we had Sue announced right here on this channel that she hit the 100 pounds down mark. And we had Rebecca in the group who announced it. So this is so exciting. I can't even believe it. And so I've been telling the backstory, how we went from, me in 2017, looking like this to looking more like this, just 3 years ago to this. And this is on the website, Eat Like a Bear, and it shows a distribution of people with mostly with a ridiculously big salad book because it was the only data that I have, but just the people telling friends about it, really. And we shot a segment yesterday, and that's on the YouTube channel as well. We were at lunch in Bakersfield beforehand, and 4 of us were there talking about the little chain of successes. Because when you have success and then you tell a friend, and then the friend tries it, and so there's all these little chains, and you end up with something that looks a lot like this. And so to me, this is completely unexpected. I mean, really, especially this part, the this versus this, because I am now 30 pounds below my lowest adult weight. And if you know my story, I've always been chunky and never, ever expected to end up as a half my size case, leading the community called Eat Like a Bear from a video just kind of tongue-in-cheek almost 3 years ago. And so I've been telling these stories daily here and talked about the first story is about my mindset in 2017 and how it was different from the other diets. The second story is about how I went in to talk to my primary doctor when I was down. I had lost 100 pounds since he had seen me, and I was thinking, oh, he can lead, someone needs to spread this message, and it's going to be him. It's going to be him. So I go in and talk to him and, kind of pitch the idea to him. And he says, Amanda, there's nobody who would do what you did. Okay. And so I walked out of his office, and I thought, first I thought, he's kind of stupid. And then I thought, wait a minute, he's actually a smart guy. Where am I not communicating? And so I sought to improve my communication skills about the diet so I could get him to start, because he needed to lead this revolution. And so as I've told the story each day, you then see me hiking through the Pacific Northwest and kind of ignoring all the videos at that point, because I was deep in the work on creating a video series on foraging. And foraging is going out into nature and harvesting edible plants that are out there, bringing them back and doing all kinds of stuff with them. So making a stir fry or a soup or a hand salve or something like that. And so I certainly didn't plan to start this. And just so I went off hiking, and after publishing that Eat Like a Bear video, and came back one day in July to find that I could do live videos. And so I popped on live and found out people were losing weight from that video. And I ran into these, we call them the Instagrammers. And that is one of the stories, a chance encounter with these millennial, all hipster Instagrammers who I said, boy, I'm doing this foraging thing, but some people have actually lost weight. What am I supposed to do? And that is when I started the Eat Like a Bear group, but certainly never imagined that I'd lead it, like apparently I ended up doing, because the doctor, and I would just, a week or two after starting the group, I went back into him, gave a great pitch, because I'd had a couple of months, 2-3 months maybe, of working on it. Like, I'm going to get him, because he was quite overweight. He was about 6'5", very tall, big. So I don't know. I mean, at least 450 pounds, but maybe a good bit more, because I can't even judge because I'm really tiny. I'm 5'2.5". Okay. So he just was like a giant mountain compared to me. And so I'm like, I'm going to get him to start. And so I made a big pitch. I did it. I practiced and managed to end up starting a Facebook group in the process, and went back in, and I could see he was doing it like he was started that second. And went out, drove across the country, did this video called A Postcard from Yellowstone. So that's the last story I told, and published the video. It has, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It has, it's in Facebook. It's also here on this YouTube channel, A Postcard from Yellowstone, and really shaped the culture and the success rate of our community. That video is why we are counting up to 100 century cases. And so there I was, again, kind of thinking the doctor is leading this and it's going to be here in Central California. And oh, but we do have this little group. And then, oh, wait, but now we have this video, A Postcard from Yellowstone, which already was kind of catching some steam. And so I'm kind of wondering where that's going, and without a real plan, actually. My dad showed up a few days after I published A Postcard from Yellowstone, as I told in the video 2 days ago, is that he told me that, by the way, the doctor has lost 45 pounds, something like 45 pounds in the 7 weeks or so since I had spoken to him. And so, I was really charged, like, this is it. He's, stepping into his destiny, because he had a weight loss clinic, and he had a lot of charm and charisma. And he was about, I think he was 68. So just loaded with charm, loaded with charisma, but also had congestive heart failure and other cardiac problems. And he was a really big guy. And you hear about, like, especially bigger people, and not just from being obese, but just being, large frame, and then the obesity and the effect on your heart and the stress on your heart of having to pump blood all over. And so his weight was definitely an added factor in his heart health, for sure. And so I didn't see him, but it did sound like he lost more pounds too, since my dad's report even. So he'd gotten started, and it had started working for him. But as I've gone through these 3 years, there have been 2 people in my life who I consider having started this too late, that each of them started it, and what they could see it working, but it was too little too late. And that is the case with my doctor, who had a massive heart attack in November. And so, not only did this community lose a great doctor, but I then didn't know what the heck I was doing with Eat Like a Bear. And it was growing. And I didn't have a good sense of its direction, because, again, I didn't really have a plan for this part of it. And I really did expect that I was building my foraging empire, and always had such disdain for the weight loss industry, and didn't really have a goal to be a part of it at all. Okay, at all. And so it was that time from especially November of 2018 until March. I also had a surgery in there. I had I had a triple hernia, and I had a hernia repair and I had a massive hematoma. I got a nick, okay, in the surgery, and so it bled, and I had really massive hematoma that took months to heal. And I didn't fully understand it at the time, or what was going on. And, I was really scared by it. And so there I was, kind of in limbo land with the leadership of the community, but then with my own health as well. And I was concerned, as we were growing, how would I pay for it? Because, even, so the group is the Facebook group in particular, and, the website, just, public service, right? And the Facebook group is free to people to use. And it's free because, I pay for it, and I've paid for it since it's cost money since the early fall of 2018. And so in those months, I started getting kind of concerned, because I could see the future on the cost, and how are we going to do this thing? And so I actually had a plan to get sponsors. I knew I could, I mean, easily get sponsors for things like collagen, um, you know, some, some stuff that is kind of not critical for the weight loss, but is compatible with it. So, I mean, I definitely never intended to, like have like MLM products or something like that. But I thought, there's surely some products sponsors that I could get that would be like acceptable. And so I was working on a plan to get sponsors, and that was my main approach to monetizing, because I did need revenue to keep it going. And so I actually was planning, I mean, actively planning that in the weeks that led up to around March 7th of 2019, because that is when I ended up at a trade show called Expo West. And I'm going to save that story for tomorrow because I'm a little tired. And it's an interesting one in itself. Some of you know it because I have told that before, but I haven't ever talked about my doctor. So um, I'm going to just leave it at that. Uh, and so I'll talk about the Expo West and the direction, um, how that led into the book Half My Size with a Ridiculously Big Salad, and just the sort of salad focus in the group, because that's kind of interesting in itself. And then into like the revenue and the revenue model from there. And I'm hoping, so this is Tuesday, so I'll talk about that tomorrow. And then Thursday or Friday, I'm hoping that I can team up with Anasul and that we can talk about our own backgrounds in terms of, because fitting with a revenue model, as I'm going to describe how I think about the money and how it is growing this community, the revenue is, and my philosophy about it. But I want Anasul to talk too, because Anasul is bear number 2. And we both come from backgrounds that I think you'll find interesting in terms of art, and that shape our view of money and service. And so I hope that maybe we'll get together in person, or at least we'll do something digitally and try to shoot her in here too. And so that'll be in the next few days as we continue to meet every day and figure out how does this YouTube live thing work. And my next like iteration of the YouTube live is to get someone else on here, especially digitally, because then we could bring anybody on, anyone, anywhere. And so, hey, oh, and Anna Soul's here. So I'm looking at comments now and see Anna is listening. And so Jackie, yeah. Yeah, you guys, the doctor, gosh, I don't, okay. You can see why I haven't told that story before. And so, but I mean, it's interesting because he is the because I think back on why was I even running around on those talking about weight loss. So I was really focused on foraging. I mean, that's so evident. There's no denying that as you look at, you can find the videos in Facebook and YouTube, and I was so focused on that. So why even spend any time talking about weight loss? And he's the reason. He's the reason, because I was trying to understand what I was saying to him that wasn't working. So it's like marketing. It's the marketing of weight loss. How can you say something to somebody to get them to start? And that's what I was doing. See, the weight loss marketers, they are going to work on how to speak about that thing to get you to buy it. And as I've come to learn in these last 3 years, the marketing messages that get us to buy weight loss products very often are create a mindset stance that reduces our success. And so how can we have a message that actually increases the success in weight loss? And I've actively worked on that. I mean, I think about that almost every day. And it started with that Yellowstone video. That was well, I didn't think about it as a marketer. I mean, I was thinking, because you'll hear if you watch the previous videos, that there was a specific stranger in a thrift store that I crafted that video for. And I thought, what would I say to her if I could just pop into her Facebook feed, in between cat videos. And I laugh and shake my head every time someone says, "Oh yeah, Amanda just popped into my feed on Facebook," because I planned that. Yeah, I did. Did it. Okay. Yeah, and so is Vivian here? Yes, because Vivian is a sensory bear. We need some kind of like sensory bear dance. Could someone who actually dances make a dance for us? But it needs to be an easy dance that we can all do. And then maybe we should do something like that and have like some dance. We need a jingle, and it's like the century's jingle. And I mean, the century, what is, so what is a century bear? And maybe, because you know what, not everybody's going to lose 100 pounds, and good for you. Good for you if you're not weight qualified to be a century bear. Good, that's good. And but we get captivated by the tens, all the digits, and really, one of those century marks of the 100% is maybe about living our full life, our full 100%. And that's really what we do here at Eat Like a Bear. It's really about that. And people like Vivian are symbols of focusing and getting there. And so Vivian, so we need a dance, some kind of dance. And Jackie, do you dance? Because you could do the dance with the hair. Because you guys know Jackie has blue hair. So yeah. Bonnie needs to lose 100 pounds. Well, Bonnie, you are in the right place. And work on the 100 pounds, Bonnie, and we will work on the dance. The Bonnie Century Bear dance. That's what we're going to work on. So, and yes, the Utah thrift store woman. So yes, there was a woman and a century t-shirt. Okay, so guys, I'm getting on email right now because I've been trying to, I have a concept and I'm about to get a designer. I think, anyway, we're going to have a t-shirt. We're going to have a t-shirt. And because I have a great idea for one. At least I think it's a good idea. And whoever else thinks it's a good idea will have the opportunity to buy it. And the proceeds from that, because this is where all of this is going, because I'm going to be talking about the revenue, how we're going to keep the lights on. And people really have a misconception because the group is free, that it's free. It costs me, had I known, I'll tell you what, had someone said, look, if you start talking to this doctor, trying to convince him, and you're going to start a group, and the group is going to cost this much, I wouldn't have ever started it, ever. Because it's real serious money, you guys. It's actual real money. And so like the book sales and the digital courses, they're paying for the group. And at some point they'll pay me too. So that'll be an exciting day. And in the meantime, we're going to grow other stuff. Going to keep growing stuff. We're going to grow this YouTube channel. And that is where the proceeds from the Century Bear shirts will come in. And we will use it to grow this and to grow our stories here on this YouTube channel. So that's where all these stories are going, is into our direction. I'll talk more about the direction for this community. So Veronica, yeah, I do need to get paid, Veronica, but it's okay. It's okay. So, but I do think, I mean, people just don't really take a step back and look at it. But we'll talk more about revenue. So we're good. We'll talk more about it. And let's see. So if I've lost 40 pounds prior to Eat Like a Bear, but lose the rest, about 80 pounds, is that considered Century Bear? Okay, so we have all the Century cases on the website. Congratulations. Wherever, however you lose it, oh my gosh, I mean, it's a lot of work to lose it. And so credit to everybody for losing it. But in terms of the count, the official numbered count, we are counting people who have lost 100 since finding us. And the reason for that is just to, kind of keep it cleaner. And so that we can kind of make that claim. It's a little easier to say oh, since they found us, rather than well, it has to be a certain percentage or whatever else. But that's awesome. And we will, and you should, especially if a good bit of that weight is through Eat Like a Bear, then we want to know your story too, because I think sometimes these cases are even more interesting to see well, I did this and I got down to this weight. and then I implemented maybe the intermittent fasting part or whatever it is, and then I was able to push through and get to this other stage. So that is, I mean, those kinds of stories are just golden for us. Totally awesome. So yeah, so we're gonna want to hear all about you, for instance. So absolutely, congratulations, you guys. Anyone losing weight anywhere, stumbling upon me, I'm gonna say congratulations. So absolutely. Um, let's see, y'all got purple streaks in your hair. Is that what you're talking about? And let's see. Oh yeah, Paulina. So yeah, t-shirts when you hit the century loss. Well, so what we need that, but what I'm talking about is actually we're going to have like a commemorative t-shirt, I think, for just like this season of anybody. And it's not gonna say like, hey, I'm a century case. You wait for it. You wait for it. Especially if you follow these stories. I have a concept that I think will be great. So Amy is saying, how do I share about this community with my friends who are looking to lose weight and get healthy? I am passionate about sharing, but I don't want to be oversharing. Oh, I see what you're asking. So like, yeah, because it's kind of like with the stranger in the thrift store in Utah. I'm not going to go up to her and say, hey, you're looking a little chunky. And so don't you want to change your life or whatever? So because she looked like this and I looked like this. So like I do now. And so how do you do that? So you know what? I really think that especially as people see your own weight loss, when they're ready, they're going to ask you. And so I would just live, and like represent and wait for their questions, because those questions will come for sure. They'll come. And then even when they ask, my goal with people and speaking to them is always that when like the next diet that they start, that they try this. And everyone is at different stages of readiness. And even if they're asking, some people are going to need like that period of thinking about it and all that. So I would make that the goal, is that this is the next thing they try. So but otherwise I wouldn't bring it up, honestly. So unless it's a topic, like the group is talking about it over dinner, and then you offer your suggestions. Yeah. And and in that case, I would just direct people to the success cases. And some people want to get involved in like, oh, but is it keto, or my doctor says keto is XYZ. I would say, actually, what I'd say is, oh gosh, I'm not sure if it's keto or not. Like if they're all like anti-keto, I'd like, I don't think it's keto. That's what I would say. But why don't you go look at their success cases? Just direct them to success cases. I mean, come on, it tells a story. And I mean, have you seen like the robust health among the people in their after photos? And it's not even just like, oh, well, that person's looking trim. I mean, that's part of it. But like the skin tones, the skin health, all of that. I mean, okay, so we're older, and so my skin is 50, but the coloring, all of that, and you see that in all of these success cases. So I just send people there. That's what I would do. Don't get involved in all the other like arguments. It's a waste of energy. Yeah. Oh, Janice says Amanda's looking fabulous today. Thank you, Janice. Oh, so some Anasul told me yesterday we had a hard time finding the comments, but she said someone was asking about the shirt and said, where do you get those with the sleeves? So where do you get the 3/4 sleeves that, cover maybe some of the arm fat? I think didn't get said, but I heard it. Like, yeah, did they notice that? So did they notice that it covers that? See my big balloon arms. I don't want it flopping around out there. So I do still have loose skin, as you'll see from a video. If you haven't found the loose skin video on this channel, go to YouTube and loose skin weight loss, scroll down, you'll see me doing this and showing my skin. And in the video, I actually reveal my wiggly jiggly skin, including my arm skin. And all that is to say, this is Ralph Lauren. And when you find, a style that you like, that fits well, get all the colors. And so if you're wondering, like, does Amanda have one shirt that's in like 500 colors? Yes, I do. And it's Ralph Lauren. And why Ralph Lauren? Because it fit. And I could order it online. And that's it. It's my dream to have like the 5 things, and then they all fit, and they all fit every day and every month, and I never have to think about it. That's my goal. That's my goal. Because you know what? I've not been a fashion person ever. Losing weight did not change that. So yes, let's see. Oh, and Amy found a bunch of adorable bear pins, badges at Goodwill. Well, look at that. See, I mean, that's got to be a sign of something. I'm not sure what it's a sign of, but it's got to be a good one. So, um, and so Bookwoman, hey there, Bookwoman. So we don't know who you are, Bookwoman, because I laugh at this with YouTube. But anyway, what did you do on holidays when everyone else was eating mashed potatoes and apple pie? I always wondered how you stayed on track without feeling miffed, even day-to-day family meals where you smell pizza. Okay, so it's completely a mind game. And have I shown you guys? Do I have it here? You should see the photos. Let me just, because just in case, I might have them here. I will just take a minute because I've got the holiday photos that I've shown before. See, I have it. Some of you have seen it, and so I started this in August of 2017, and by November I took this with my friend at Thanksgiving, and this is my longtime friend Veronica. And here I had already lost about 70 pounds. I had a lot of momentum and a lot of steam. And Veronica's family gets together and they have a great Thanksgiving. I mean, they've got the whole spread. It's amazing. It's got all the stuff you're mentioning, all of it. And it's all homemade, amazing stuff. So this isn't like they got the order at Safeway and brought it home. This is all amazing. And they've got the craft beer. They've got all of it. And so there I was. Thanksgiving, 70 pounds down. And here's the thing. By all measures, any argument we might have been able to make, I deserved it, right? Because look at all the progress that I made. I mean, that compared to this, okay? And I was happy. I was really doing well with it. And so could have definitely said, you deserve a cheat day. It's Thanksgiving. And I didn't. I didn't do it because I was concerned that I would lose my momentum, and I very well might have. At that time, I didn't have the experience that I have now, and I was concerned about getting off track because I was making really good progress at this point. Really, really good progress. And so I stayed on track. So this is why you should stay on track, okay? Because 1 year later, Veronica and I recreated the photo, okay? And here we are at the next Thanksgiving 1 year later. And I can tell you here, I even could not have conceived of this, but this is the payoff from staying focused. And I encourage everybody to do that. And you're right, mentioning just family dinners or just the house, being in the house with kids and their pizza is an ongoing temptation. You got, and if you're, so I have a psychology course on the site as part of the premium content, but it's a big theme about how to begin to think about this differently and how to have a different value. Think about the value you have for the pizza, the donut, those sorts of things, weighed against like the cost of those things to you, essentially. And there's a lot of ways to think about the cost. So you guys, just to be clear, I'm not a psychologist. I'm a political scientist, and so you'll see the psychology content is based on social choice theory, which was the theory that was the sort of underpinning of my dissertation. I'm in a whole other area and just shining the light of using that same theoretical framework on addiction, which to me has been fascinating. And so who knew that my dissertation would ever be relevant to weight loss, especially. And it's a head thing and it's a boundary thing. And so if you're preparing the meals for the kids, you can prepare them in your time that you're eating. That really makes a big difference. And then, try to get them to be a little bit independent. So if they're little, maybe you can set things up for them to eat later. If they're bigger, I'd be getting them in there making the sandwiches. That's what I'd be doing. But you can also do some kind of meal sharing. So I eat the salad almost every day and have a protein on top, and I might make something for them that's like a different bottom. or they might, my husband has relied a lot on the, packaged entrees, that you get at like Costco or whatever. And so they do keep things like that when they want something like that. So really, I've ended up kind of encouraging a little bit more independence among my crew here, and that's been life changing in itself. Like there's the weight loss, and then there's the independence of the eaters around here. Now mine are older, so my youngest now is 12 and a half, but this is now 4 years ago, so he was 8.5 at the time, and he didn't starve. None of them starved. They handled it. So yeah, you need to find the structures, and like turn off the pizza. Like, well, I don't eat that because it's not meeting my goals. Yeah. And so Jackie's saying, I like cooking for Steve when I'm stuffed. Yeah, exactly. And so and she's saying it's easier now. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you're gonna get in a groove. And so sometimes maybe for the first 2 weeks, 4 weeks, you're going to really need to set those structures up to just protect yourself as much as possible. And, maybe even have them all just eat a bunch of freezer food or something and have them warm it up themselves and go outside. I mean, anything like that might work for your circumstance, I would set those up. But yeah, once you have that steam, because see, this momentum that I had that kept me on track, that kept me going. And you need to really kind of focus on, like, it, recognize the momentum for what it is, the power that it is, and like it's your biggest asset, and just don't let go of that. And if you are comparing that momentum to eating the pizza, that's going to be very useful. Okay, because uh, if you really start to weigh more consciously those decisions, and in the beginning set yourself up so you're not making those, like especially the little mindless, like accidental eating things, that kind of thing. Set your structures up. Got to have the structures that are going to help support your success. And let's see. Hey, and you are batch cooking. So batch cooking chicken, hamburger, and bacon. Awesome. Yeah, so keeping it prepared. And that is exactly how I, well, it's in the Ridiculously Big Salad book, the whole batch cooking message. Let's see. And let's see. So Vivian is recommending Maria's recipes. And so, yeah, Maria owned a bakery. And so what you're going to want to do with all the keto recipes is be mindful of, it's really easy to get sucked down the keto recipe path. Um, we always want to eat all the stuff. And some of the keto stuff is really very high in calorie. There are strategic aspects of the Ridiculously Big Salad, which is what's driving the success in the community and drove Maria's weight loss as well. And so just be mindful of those keto recipes, like the substitutes, like the, keto biscuits and gravy is really a standout concept because it's very loaded with calories. And boy, I'm sure fabulous tasting, but you're probably not in a long game play with the keto biscuits and gravy if you're eating it every day. And so I just watch that. Yeah, definitely watch that. And the idea that, oh, just because it's keto means it's going to drive weight loss. Sorry, but what we're doing here is a distinct version of keto. And that's what's driving the success that you're seeing here. And some people do lose with just sort of a more generic keto. And so, which is great. Yeah. Elaine asks, so 93, Elaine, we've got 93 century cases here. And so Sue's got her 24-year-old son on board and needs to lose about 100 pounds, but is not a salad eater. Probably needs at least 2,000 calories. Yeah, playing with ideas, but any input would be great. And so Sue's someone who can eat more like 2,000 calories and lose weight, which would be a young man like that. He could probably lose a good bit of weight keeping it at 2,000 calories. I think you can look at some of the more traditional, like some of the keto meals that we're talking about. And if he's not a salad eater, he's not a salad eater. So, okay, so move on to other things. Yeah, I would look at some of those keto casseroles and stuff like that. But seriously, some of those are over the top with calories, and you'll want to watch it in terms of portions or whatever, because you're going to want to really hit it so that he is really satisfied with those 2,000 calories, and is able to keep it at that daily to drive that success. So then he then has that success. So my husband can eat more in that range. And what he did is he had typically two meals, where one meal was maybe eggs and sausage, and then the other meal was something more like the ridiculously big salad. And yeah, he could have a cooked version of the ridiculously big salad as a second meal as well. So something like that would work. But the cooked RBSs are you'd need two of those probably for your son. So, and so that would be an option too. That would be an option too. But I feel like, with the 2,000 calories, you can play around a little bit with some of those like fattier keto recipes, which are, I'm sure, great, really great. But for me, I overeat them, and most of us do. Most of us women especially do, because we women just have a lower maintenance calorie amount. That's all. So, um, which is partly why, we see our husbands eating all that stuff and not gaining quite like we do. Yeah. Let's see. Um, let's see. Just scrolling up. Um, yeah, we need to have, so the necklace, I know we need to have our own necklace made. Well, we're going to work on all these things. You guys, it's hard to overstate how much work there is back here, and how many things we would be trying to do if we had more time. Um, and what I do, and I'll talk more about this too in the stories, is I do prioritize my time based on what I think is like the most critical thing next that's going to drive more success in weight loss. And that's why I have worked on the content, the books, basically. And that has been where most of my time is. And as I look forward to, I've needed a little breather because I just spent a lot of time on the Jumpstart digital course and need a breather from that. But I do hope to really kind of tie up the psychology and the cooked RBS content in the next few months. But other than that, my focus, I'm feeling like I'm going to break out of that content because my focus is going to be on the YouTube videos. But as we progress and go on, we'll have some things to sell. People want to buy them. Thank you guys for your support, and we could use the revenue, frankly. So as you'll hear from the revenue model, and as we try to grow things like this YouTube channel, we'll be selling some things hopefully to pay for the YouTube channel. So maybe even a bear necklace. That would be great. Did you see that my bear broke its foot? So yeah. Okay. And oh, Debbie just ordered the Jumpstart book. Awesome. Awesome. And yeah, so the cooked RBS book, there's recipes, and so that's just part of the bundle right now because it's just recipes, it's videos, and there's no book yet. And there needs to be a book before I break that out, so that, because it's not just a recipe collection, it's there's a lot of psychology in what we're doing, and I feel like it's important to explain that in the context of those recipes, because I'll tell you, none of these success cases that you're seeing, I wonder what percentage of it is being driven by recipes. I'm not sure. Recipes, having, like, we have a really effective food framework in the ridiculously big salad, but I would say it's necessary to have a very effective food framework, but maybe not sufficient for the weight loss. And so the psychology of it becomes the sufficient condition that's driving the level of success that you're seeing. And I know also that I'm sure I don't fully understand all that it is that we're doing that's important. But I'm working on trying to understand it, because it's really helped me with my own maintenance, in a way that I do wonder. I've said it on here a good bit, but I wonder if I would have gained the weight back had I not started this community. And so even though I say things like, oh, I never planned to start it, which is the absolute truth, or good golly, I wouldn't have started had I known what it was going to cost, also true, I also say, boy, I'd also maybe be fat again if I hadn't started it. So you got to weigh all the things, weigh all of them against each other. Okay, let's see. Um, yeah, veggies, stir fries. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to to approach that cooked model for sure. Let's see. Just looking up here and looking for some comments. Hey, so if I've missed your comment, put it in again, and I will catch it at the bottom. Let's see. Just scrolling up. Vivian, I have replacement knees, so no dancing for me, but I would be interested in a pen or t-shirt. Okay, well, because we need the to all be dancing in the videos, celebrating all the weight loss cases. Vivian, with replacement knees, you could dance. So maybe we need somebody who dances, okay, who can make a dance that someone can do with replacement knees too. Because I know you can dance, Vivian. So, right? So you don't have complete range of motion in your knees. That's okay, but you still got motion in the game, Vivian. You may need to see you dance, Vivian. Maybe that's a requirement to join the Century Bear Club, is you have to do the dance. Okay, that would be kind of, and dye your hair blue like Jackie. That would be funny. Of course, I'd have to let mine grow out gray before I could dye it blue or maybe bleach it. Because you guys do know that, so I'm 52 and I might have cooked this up just a little bit, right? So you know that. I think you guys know that. Okay. So now that I messed up my hair. All right. Chair dances. There you go. Okay. Well, we can have, oh, and so when do we get to go to BearCon? Okay. So Lori, yeah, so we're going to do that. I know that there's demand for, the shirts and the, jewelry, and demand for the events is the definitely the other big thing. And we're going to do this. We're working on it. But honestly, with like COVID, what could you even do? And so let's get a little more clarity on COVID. But everybody, we're like this, right? And ready to like jump out because it's close. It's feeling really close. And we're about to find out if the vaccines are effective. And so let's get past that. But yeah, we need to do events. And I don't know about like a big like international bear con. I'm not sure, that scares me a little bit. Because you guys, events cost a lot of money. Yeah, there'd be tickets and people would pay, but you put a bunch on the hook is what happens. So it's not something I'm going to just do lightly, and it's going to take a lot of organization. It's going to take a whole team. But I appreciate that you guys are ready and you want to do it, and we're going to, it's in the goal sheet, okay? But it really is a big deal. And so regional meetups are definitely probably before that. More casual kind of, or just like, hey, let's all meet at the hiking trail kind of meetups, maybe could happen pretty soon. Yeah, I know I'm antsy. I'm antsy as heck to get out of here. And I just every day been thinking about like, oh, do I have the gear? Because we're going to do stories, right? I'm going out to collect stories. So I'm going to go find you guys too. So we'll do that. Do some of all of that. Somehow. Okay. So let me see. Add your questions. Add your questions and comments. So yeah, Jackie, so we're gonna bottle some blue hair dye as the official hair dye for Eat Like a Bear. That would be so legendary. I can't even, that's a great idea. I mean, how many people would buy it? Do we even care? Just doing it sounds great. Just doing it. Okay. Recommendations for flavoring water. I need to ditch the diet sodas and change over. Have you tried any of the flavoring extracts? Like you can buy different flavor extracts. Does anyone know a good brand? Because that's something I don't really know well, is the extracts. But if you know them, you know what I'm talking about. And where you just put like the drops in, and it's just an extract. So if anyone knows good brands on that, but that's what I would do. Or lemon. I mean, like keep it simple, right? You could do a lemon or lime kind of a thing, and perhaps I'm a stevia person, and I would sweeten something like that with stevia a lot of the time. So like kind of more lemonade like. You guys, I saw a discussion in the group and wanted to clarify for anyone here, and I said it, but then a bunch of other people said other things. And so, um, stevia is a natural sweetener, but a lot of the products out there that seem to imply that they're a stevia product are very often not, and very often have a lot of erythritol in it, which is a sugar alcohol. And so people complain about things like, bowel discomfort, which you get from erythritol, and then they blame the stevia. Well, it's because that product is actually mainly erythritol. So really, any sweetener that you're looking at, if you're looking for the stevia, turn it around and read the label, and you will see in so many cases it's erythritol. And just make sure that the ingredient on that is stevia. And I get stevia at Trader Joe's, and it comes in even there, you have to look. I don't know that they sell it anymore, but they used to sell one that was something else, but anyway, the stevia bottle with powder is only about this big at Trader Joe's, and it's like $10, but the scoop on it is really tiny, like the very end of my pinky, very tiny. So it goes a long way. And the liquid is also, it's a liquid stevia extract, and it's about this big. So it seems very expensive, and I don't know what it is compared to sugar, but I mean, they last a long time because you're just using a little bit, and just use a little bit. Like, there's a reason the scoop is small, or like the dropper is small. And so be careful with that too. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, adding lemon, cucumber, fresh mint to the water. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like the cucumber water. Isn't that great? That actually sounds, I should have some right now. I should have some ready, and I don't. Yeah, that would be great. And Cindy, excellent. So Cindy, maybe you need to create the Century dance, because Cindy has a replacement knee. So there you're on. You're on, Cindy. Hope you can dance. You can dance better than I can, Cindy. I guarantee you that. Okay, so let's see. Looking up for comments. Oh, Sarah, what is my all-time favorite salad? I mean, maybe the Big Mac salad if I just went with one signature salad. But what I eat most is maybe more the coleslaw type of thing with a hot item. But that's coming off of winter. So through the spring and summer, it's, who knows? It often more eclectic. So I take the framework, and like we have fresh arugula here, we have wild greens and stuff. And so a lot of times I'll just do some kind of vinaigrette and just throw in whatever it is that I have around. So it kind of depends on the night. I'm one of these, I go in cycles. So I could see having the Big Mac salad every day for a lot of days, and then getting sick of it, and then switching to something. So it kind of depends on my mood. Yeah. Let's see. And let's see, Jackie buys the Better Stevia brand off Amazon, and it's much cheaper. Yeah, so something else to remember or to know about is the different stevias have slightly different flavor profiles too. And so if you find one that you like, keep buying that one. Yeah. Vivian has never danced, and at 69, I won't be starting. Vivian, come on. You're a century bear. Dance? I don't dance either, Vivian. I would dance, though. Would dance if we get Vivian out there dancing. Let's see. Okay, Amy is recommending Olive Nation. I've used the Olive Nation before. And yeah, and so you can put them in the drinks, or you can, and other things. So it's just a nice option for getting, a little bit more of a flavor of some kind. So you can get, blackberry and put it into your seltzer, for instance. Let's see. Yeah, monk fruit Lorraine is great. So that's the other natural sweetener that a lot of people use. But there too, the companies will make it seem like it's all monk fruit, and usually it's not. So just be mindful of that. And then if you have an issue with it, you really need, I would consider that maybe it's that other ingredient, because it probably is. So I would rule that out first before saying, oh, it's the monk fruit that did that thing, because it probably isn't. Monk fruit's pretty expensive, and so I think, and it's a little easier to find the stevia products, and probably partly too because of the price. And so that's typically the place someone's going to start. And let's see. Oh, Paulina is going to come to the States for BearCon and hike all over. Because Paulina, you are in Australia or New Zealand, I think. And so, because the alternative is we have BearCon down there. So, and I don't know how many of us would be there. Fitting my little dream of, is Wendy here today? I wonder how much progress she's making finding a chain of stories in South Africa for us. Yeah. And anasula is saying, be careful with the commercial water flavorings, even if it doesn't show on the carb count. Many have concentrated grape juice. Yeah. So yeah, look at the ingredients, because I mean, it would these drinks, it would show that in the ingredients, right, Anna? So you're saying that it doesn't go into the carb count, or it does, see you guys, but it's below a certain level, right? And so it's not on the label. But then when you go down and you look, and you'll see some in the ingredients, and that's what Anna is pointing out, is some of the, like the bottled beverages. So we've had people make really good progress. Someone brought up Maria earlier, and Maria, I think, was a big drinker of Propel, but and did fine in her weight loss. But Maria was also doing an extended water fast every week for 72 hours, and so she could probably get away with that a little better. It's hard to know because I think most of us are not doing that every week. And so you kind of have to take a step back on like all of your decisions. Because the flip side of that is we've had people who have broken through stalls by giving up drinks like that, just to let you know. So, but that gets into the artificials and stuff too. So we're talking, I know you guys are asking about stevia. Anyway, it just reminded me of that. And, oh, Anne Marie is asking about anyone in Australia, because you're looking for an Australian bear friend. Awesome. There are definitely some in the group. So, and there might even, I wonder if there's a hashtag, one of those posts for Australia in there, like there are for the States. There's one for sure for Canada. Now I wonder if there's one for South Africa too. So we should check on that. Oh, Vivian, right, you live right near Georgia Baker. Isn't that great to be able to just, I mean, to just find your people right there, and then realize, wow, that's my neighbor. It's amazing. What a world. What a world. So, hey, you guys. So pop in any other questions, and then I'm going to go. And yeah, Paulina's like, yeah, Paulina, you need to find a chain for me down there in New Zealand, or make a chain, Paulina. So, right? So yesterday, Anasula and I, and we were with Melinda and her mom, Lori, in Bakersfield. I'm not sure when this segment is going to air on KGET, but on the news one of these days. So I guess I'll get a message from them or something. Hey, check out the news. And we talked about how Anna saw me 70 pounds down, and she got started. She, her longtime friend Melinda saw her and her husband Tino and said, "What are you doing?" And so she pointed her to Eat Like a Bear. Melinda was highly skeptical, but of course, because she'd done all the diets, Melinda's our people. And but she couldn't kind of get past the success story she's seeing. And so she decided to do it. She got her mom to do it with her, and that's Lori. And so the four of us were at KGET News yesterday describing that chain of stories that, and the success, and it's not only that, like it's not even that simple chain, because each person then has a bunch of other people and so the chain goes on. And so you need to find a chain and in your area, and say, wow, Amanda, you will just die over this chain. Make a chain. We will come. All right. So because that's what all of this is about. That's what we're talking about as we count up to our century cases. I'm looking for my graphic. Okay. And this, so all this pink is because I say on the post, I talk about, you guys, we have 8 century bears in Texas. On the post, I say we have 7 in Missouri, but then we found another. So there's 8 in Missouri alone. We have 2 in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. And there's a high representation in Wisconsin and, just throughout the heartland. Okay. So, and it's because of these social chains. And Anne Marie teaches dance on YouTube. Do you have a YouTube channel teaching dance? Is that what you're saying, Anne Marie? Well, look at that. So, what? So maybe, let me see. Do you post in, Anne Marie, do you post in or do you even know about the Shake Like a Bear group? So in the Facebook group, there's the Eat Like a Bear stories, and you guys should know there's also we call them subgroups, but they're just other Facebook groups. And if you're a member of the main group, you just put in a request to join those other groups and you'll automatically get into those. But there's one called Shake Like a Bear, which is for exercise. We have one for people over 60 or 65, I can't remember, called Silver Bears. We have Crafter Bears, Bariatric Bears, Ursa Major, which is people who've started over 300 pounds. We have the Grizzlies, which is men. We have a Young Mama Bears group. There's an herb group. And there's maybe a group that I'm forgetting. Oh, Bear Threads. Fashion and clothing exchanges and all that sort of thing. Yeah. So anyway, awesome, you guys. So I'm gonna hang up. See, I always say that. Like, am I that old? Yes, apparently. I'm gonna go, and I will catch you all tomorrow to talk about what. Oh, so the big thing is, the doctor passed, and I didn't have a plan at all. And so the things that I was considering, including getting sponsors, but there's something else, and I'll talk about that tomorrow, a direction that I was taking as I was there struggling with the surgery that I had and all of that. And so where we ended up going. So that will be tomorrow, Wednesday. And then we'll get here soon also with anasula, I hope. And maybe do it digitally on it, because that might help us practice, because we're doing this every day. So I'm going to run out of the backstory, because we're, already just almost up to the RBS. And so we'll run out of the backstory, and we're going to keep talking every day. And I think it would be great to have some of you guys come on and introduce yourselves and all that. So I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, all of that. And until then, I will catch you in the group maybe.